The eighth reason, and I'm going to do these last three quickly, logic and reason. That is, if everything is random chance, if evolution is random and human evolution is random, then my brain is the result of just random chance, and therefore logic and reason my brain can't be trusted if it's just the result of a random process.
So number 8 right here, he used 8 in the last slide, so I'm guessing maybe he made a mistake. The last slide was supposed to be number 7 again, and this is number 8. Regardless of how we want to number this bullshit, this is again wrong, because I would agree you can't trust your brain, but that's why we developed the scientific method, to rule out any bias or any subjective experience that you might have. Our brains are definitely flawed, but we can still identify logical statements. Not everybody, obviously, this video is evidence of that, but we can identify logical statements. We can apply the rules of logic, the very many different rules of logic, and we can identify like reasonable statements. We can use reason, because that's an emergent property of our complex central nervous system, is the ability to reason. None of this is actually proved wrong by his vacuous statements here. Logic was developed by humans because that's what we experience in reality. Our understanding of reason has also developed because of our experience in reality. Both of these things describe our experiences in reality, and at the core of it, we admit that our brains are flawed and aren't necessarily trustworthy. That's why we developed the scientific method.
The ninth reason is origins. Evolution cannot explain origins. It may be able to explain to a small degree the survival of the fittest, but it cannot explain the arrival of the fittest. It cannot explain how life began in the first place.
Well, evolution's not meant to. That would be abiogenesis. So if you want to put together 10 reasons why abiogenesis is incorrect, then you could put origins in here. You'd still be wrong, but it would be more applicable in that particular bullshit video. But in this case, evolution's not meant to describe the origins of life. It only is meant to describe how life changes throughout time in order to adapt to the environment that each organism exists within, or group of organisms rather, because evolution is like generational. It's not like it doesn't happen in one individual. Basically, this particular point is bunk because evolution doesn't have anything to do with the origins of life.
And then 10, DNA. DNA is the most complex source of information on the planet. It is a language like no other. There are no computer systems that we have that even get close to what is in DNA, yet DNA is in every living thing. All languages are the product of a mind. And there is no known process for adding new information in to a creature that passes on. Everything that I pass on to my kids is already existing information. And DNA wasn't known in Darwin's day, and it just blows evolution plain out of the water.
I don't understand how DNA could blow evolution out of the water, because all of our DNA evidence that we've discovered after discovering DNA has only further proved evolution. Like a good, for instance, here would be the chromosome 2 in humans, because we've been able to analyze chromosome 2 and we found that it's actually a fusion of 2 different chromosomes and other great ape lineages. And because of this, we know that we developed out of a proto-ape ancestor along with the other great apes in the great ape family, which again, we are part of. Now, he says that DNA is the most complex language or the most complex chemical or whatever on this earth. And that's stretching it a little bit. DNA is a complex molecule, but it's not like the most complex thing out there. There are simple chemical processes that can be used in order to produce DNA, which would be based on the laws of chemistry and the laws of physics and things of that nature. Now, he goes further to say that, all languages developed by a person or by some kind of intelligence. And I feel like natural language that does exist out there in nature doesn't need any kind of designer in order for it to exist. It can just naturally come about. And this is a well-known thing and a well-studied thing in this particular field of languages and shit. Also, he views DNA as something that's similar to like computer code or anything like that. And that's not exactly accurate, because DNA is a chemical molecule. It operates by the laws of chemistry and not by like the same laws that affect computer systems or the same ideas that are behind computer systems and computer languages. This is different than a computer language. I mean, it's similar in nature and function, but it's still different. I don't know where he's getting this information, but number 10 is also bunk because DNA does not disprove evolution. DNA only reinforces evolutionary theory. This has been proved many times in the past. All in all, I was not convinced by these further 5 reasons that evolution is false. None of them seem to pan out, and he presented misinformation at every single point. He also included a number of things like the origin of life and DNA where they don't belong, because evolution, for one, is not supposed to explain how DNA came about or how DNA operates or anything about DNA really, but DNA does support evolution. He brought up abiogenesis, or the origin of life. That doesn't belong in this list either. He brought up various quote mines all throughout this particular section, which only undermine his position, because I mean, if you're gonna be so smarmy as to provide quote mines that are absent of any context and you're gonna use them to support your position, when in actuality the quotes don't support your position, they actually support evolution or the contrary to your position, I feel like that makes you very untrustworthy and nobody should be taking you seriously, which I gather they're probably not. But the information that you used in order to generate this list is taken seriously by creationists, and it shouldn't be.